Welcome to an introduction on nutritional information by the Carnegie Library of Homestead Athletic Club staff member Felix Zamborsky. Here I'll take you through some of the basics of nutrition for understanding how your body performs in the gym. An understanding of how your body performs acts as a foundation for enhancing your performance in the gym. As you should already know, your body moves. In addition to your nerves, the muscles within your body are the organs which make your body move. Spatial movement requires energy. So, where do the muscles get their energy to move? The muscles get their energy from the forces that bond atoms together within molecular compounds. Energy keeps atoms compounded in their molecular chains. So, how is energy from an atomic compound able to be used for my muscles to move? The energy from an atomic compound is able to be used for your muscles by breaking down the bond between the atoms. Due to the conservation of energy, if the bond between atoms is broken, the energy continues to exist. However, it needs a place to be. The only place for the energy to be, if the bond is broken within the muscle, is the muscle itself. The muscle gains energy by breaking the bond between atomic compounds within it and absorbing that energy to use. The measure of energy used by muscle is quantified as a calorie. A calorie is simply a measurement of energy, commonly used in regards to physiology. Specifically, a calorie is the amount of energy it takes to increase the temperature of 1 gram of water at sea level to 1 degree Celsius. The term calorie is commonly used to refer to energy within our physiological system. However, the strict account of a calorie within the field of physics is different than that of its common referral. The label of calorie is misleading regarding food and what the body consumes. Food packaging, at least within the United States, is misleading because it labels what actually is a kilocalorie as a calorie. Even though food is labeled as containing calories, it actually contains kilocalories. Kilo refers to 1,000 of something, so kilocalorie is 1,000 calories. A kilocalorie contains the amount of energy required to increase 1 gram of water at sea level to 1,000 degrees Celsius. One conventional calorie within a piece of food has the potential to increase 1 gram of water at sea level to 1,000 degrees Celsius. Consider how much energy your body needs to function. No wonder you get so hot when you work out. Your muscles use energy in the muscle. Your body also stores energy in your adipose tissue as fat. Because atomic compounds are mass and your body derives its energy from those compounds, your body's mass corresponds to the caloric content of your food. This means your body mass corresponds to the amount of energy you consume and burn. Concerning body weight, it's simply a function of calories in versus calories out. While your hormones may entice you to consume more calories or burn more, the The function of calories in versus calories out remains the same. There are many different compounds which your body can consume and use for energy. However, there are three major categories each of them fall into. Those three categories are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Because these are the major nutritional categories each compound falls into, they are also called macronutrients. Before we get into what each macronutrient is and what it does, it must be known what each of these compounds' caloric content is. Carbohydrates contain 4 calories per gram, proteins also contain 4 calories per gram, and fats contain 9 calories per gram. The amount of calories a compound contains depends on the amount and strength of the bonds within the compound. There is another nutrient not typically contained within the three macronutrients just mentioned: alcohol. Alcohol contains 7 calories per gram. Alcohol is produced by yeast, which eats carbohydrates. So we can consider alcohol a derivative of a carbohydrate. Because the carbohydrate is partially eaten by the yeast, it naturally has less caloric content than the original carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are the most easy macronutrient for the body to break down, which means it's the quickest source of energy for the body to use. Proteins are used for building muscles and most every other type of tissue, which in turn are the things which burn calories. Fats are used for energy, the nervous system, and the hormonal system. There are many differing degrees of carbs, proteins, and fats, meaning there are different extents to which each compound's atomic chain is structured. Take carbohydrates, for example. Starch molecules are more complexly strung together than glucose molecules, meaning the atomic chain of a starch compound is larger and interweaves more than glucose. As mentioned, the body needs the bonds between atoms to be broken for the muscles to gain energy. Our bodies particularly like to use carbon compounds with hydrogen attached to them, carbohydrates. To gain energy from compounds, the body counterintuitively needs to give the compound something in return. The body needs to give the compound something to entice it to give up something of greater value to the muscle. What a carbon compound with hydrogen would like in return for giving the muscle energy is an oxygen atom. The process of removing carbon atoms and replacing them with oxygen atoms is called combustion. This combustion process is commonly referred to as burning. So we really do burn calories off our bodies. The only reason we don't see flames is because the energy generated by the process of our bodies is placed toward movement and heat rather than heat and light. If you were to dry out your food, it'll burn. That's a good way to know if your food is edible or not. We are combusting these hydrogenated carbon molecules constantly. These processes use oxygen through our breathing intake and produce carbon dioxide, which we breathe out. The oxygen we breathe in is O2, and the carbon dioxide we breathe out is CO2. On its way in, the compound only has 2 atoms, but on its way out, it has 3. So our breath carries away more mass than it takes in while breathing. Another product of the process is water. Carbon dioxide is a product of combustion, and so is water. You don't see the water during a typical campfire because it's vaporized. Within the body, the water has the potential to be sweat out. Carbohydrates are chains of carbon atoms with hydrogens intermingling with them. This is the primary source of energy our body uses, as mentioned before. However, fat can be broken down into a more basic form than that resembles carbohydrates. The same goes for protein. So whether you only eat fats or only proteins, your body will be able to synthesize these compounds into the energy which it needs to function. Although the same cannot be said for someone who only eats carbohydrates. The amino acids in proteins and the lipid structure of fats are necessary for bodily function like the brain performance, muscle building, and all the way down to skin regeneration. While the body can gather energy sources from a multitude of places, it prefers carbs due to their easy combustibility and limited need for synthesizing. Keep this in mind while exercising. You can use fats as energy, and even protein, although that's not advised if you want to build muscle, but it simply prefers carbs. Food items made from grains, such as wheat, barley, rye, corn, etc., and tubers, like potatoes and other vegetables, are mainly composed of the macronutrient carbohydrate. Proteins are the primary building block for the body tissue in general, not just skeletal muscle. Neither bones nor the brain are classified as body tissue in this instance. Therefore, protein is needed essentially everywhere. For our purposes, protein needs to be synthesized within the muscle. Within the muscle is where the combustion we mentioned earlier occurs. Food items that contain the best proteins are meats. Red meats contain excellent amounts of micronutrients as well. High protein, non-meat foods, such as peanuts, beans, are pretty nice as well. Fats serve many primary functions, even other than energy storing. Functions like hormonal balance and cushioning are essential, even though they get ignored typically. This often was a function of the macronutrient fat being corresponded with the adipose tissue within you. Fat serves important functions, so don't ignore it. Considering how fat has the highest caloric value, it's no wonder your body stores excess energy as fat. Other than oils and meats, foods that contain high amounts of fat are peanuts, cheese, milk, etc. As mentioned, the combustion process takes place within the muscle. This is the same location where a lot of micronutrients like to reside, as well as electrolytes. Electrolytes and many micronutrients facilitate much of the process of converting energy into motion. Things like potassium, sodium, calcium, and magnesium act like a battery within the muscle. ADP is another facilitating actor for motion and contraction within the muscle fibers. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Vitamins are compounds which serve specific purposes within the body. Minerals simply are metals that your body absorbs to serve similar functions. Although minerals serve more simplistic functions than vitamins, vitamins play a variety of roles, even per singular vitamin. For instance, vitamin D is used for bone destruction and construction, as well as immune function, and even as a natural ultraviolet protection from the sun. ATP, otherwise known as adenosine triphosphate, is the source of energy that mitochondria in your cells use. When used, the compound becomes adenosine diphosphate, so one phosphorus atom is removed from the compound. There is a common muscle building tool called creatine, which is another chemical compound. It doesn't have any caloric value, even though it tends to look like a protein powder. When ingested into your body, creatine lingers in the muscle tissue, and when your cells reduce ATP to ADP, the creatine replaces the phosphate atom, providing you with a replenished energy to push harder when exerting yourself. Your body will sweat out water from inside your body, some of it from the combustion, and a decent portion of that contains the electrolytes in your muscles. With vitamins in particular, there are some that are best absorbed with fat and some with water. This simply stems from the fact that water and oil don't mix. Vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, which means it's best consumed with water. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, meaning you should consume it with fats. Thank you for watching this introduction on nutritional information. The Carnegie Library of Homestead Athletic Club would like to see you use this information at our facility. Keep in mind, the basics of nutrition are the foundational points in which you can be healthy and excel within whatever purpose you exercise for.